Hello, 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 and welcome to a new season of She Talks Business. I'm super, super excited to share this new season with you because not everyone, but some of the guests that I'm bringing into this season are people that I really know, like, and trust, and they're my advisors. And so this entire season is built around the advisors that you need in your business to set yourself up for success. So I'm going to have some really rich conversations with a financial planner that is at the top of her game and is known nationally in Canada. I am going to have a conversation with a business coach that I respect immensely for not only how she coaches individuals, but how she coaches groups and how she thinks about money. I'm going to have a conversation with my international tax attorney. For those of you who have asked me what it's like to move from one country to another and do business, you can't do this unless you have a really, really, really solid international tax attorney that can help set you up for success. I'm also going to have a conversation with my accountant, who is a dynamo tax strategist. And we're going to talk about what you need to look for when you're hiring an accountant, because it's so much more than somebody who can just do your books. We're also going to talk to my immigration attorney so that you can understand the laws that you should be following if you want to do business in another country. Sometimes people aren't sure, so they try to cross borders and cross their fingers and their toes and hope that nobody knows, when really there are sometimes easy legal things that you can do to do business in other countries. We are also going to talk, last but not least, and there might be more. These are the people I've lined up so far, to an IP and trademark attorney about what you should be doing to protect your intellectual property. Because in a world where ChatGPT is gobbling up the internet and everybody's using AI for this, that, and every other thing you can imagine, it's more important than ever that you protect the work that is yours and that you understand the difference between having a solid copyright versus a trademark versus a registered trademark and things like that. So we've got some really, really, really great advisors lined up. And these are people that I respect a lot. And like I said, some of these people I've worked with personally, and they've really helped me to transform my business. And what I really like about having an advisory board, even though they all don't know, I call them my advisory board, is when I have a question about something, I can send an email out to some of the smartest people I know. And yeah, it might cost money to get the answer to those questions, but let me tell you, it can save you a lot of money in the long run when you have the right person with the right knowledge that you can go to. So today, I want to talk to you about who your advisors shouldn't be. Because let's face it, we all know we need advisors, right? Especially when you're starting something new and you have no expertise around it, you need people to guide you and help you. But what I see happening in a lot of cases when people are starting out, and even sometimes when people get a little bit further down the road in their business, is they're actually deploying or employing the wrong advisors. They're playing a small game by not getting the best advisors that they can get. And so I remember when I reached out to my international tax attorney and she responded to me, actually, a girlfriend of mine referred me to her and said she's really good, but she's not cheap. Well, I got to tell you, she's worth her weight in gold because the advice that she's given me is stellar. So sometimes what we do is we look for the cheapest advice we can get, and the cheapest advice is not always the best advice. So I want to talk about 5 people that probably shouldn't be your advisors. And of course, there are exceptions to all of this. There are always, always, always going to be exceptions. But I'd say this is a pretty good rule to follow unless you meet the exception. So, number 1, who should not be your advisor? Your family, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin. They got no business being in your business unless they are business owners and they're further down the path and they actually are qualified to give you some advice based on their own business experience. If you come from a family like mine, though, they're not business owners. They don't know anything about business. And so it would be really silly for me to take business advice from my mom, who thinks I'm crazy to own a business. She thought I was crazy to quit my job and start a business. And then when I sold that business, she thought I was crazy to step into the next business that I wanted to run. So don't take advice from people who have never been business owners, especially family, because your family is typically going to want to protect you. And if you're going to be successful as an entrepreneur, you need to get comfortable with a little bit of risk in your life. So beware of having family be your advisors unless they know business. Number 2 on my list, your best friend. If your best friend is an employee and they have a really great job, they don't have any business in your business either, because an employee doesn't think like an entrepreneur. Somebody who is on a career fast track, who just wants to work for a company for the rest of their lives, they're interested in a pension and they want to play it safe, don't go to them for business advice. They don't understand what it's like to be in charge of a business. They don't understand what it's like to be in charge of hiring and firing and payroll and managing your own money. I don't care how senior you are for someone else's company, it's still not your money. And I've done both. I've been senior and responsible for P&L, and I've owned my own business. And I will tell you that when I worked for a corporation, I thought I knew it all until I opened my own business. And there's no comparison, because that money is your money now. It's not a budget that's been allocated to you. It's your money. And therefore, you need to take advice from people that can help you learn how to manage that money. And somebody who is an employee for another organization that has never had to manage their own money inside of a business is probably not the right person for you to be taking business advice from. Number 3, anyone who hasn't done what you aspire to do. If you want to build $1 million business, don't hire a brand new business coach who's barely reached 6 figures. That's not who you want to guide and advise you. You want someone who who's like 5-10 steps ahead of you. I just joined a money program that I'm going to be in over the course of the next year. It starts later this fall. And the mentors are billionaires. Because you know what? I already know what it's like to have $1 million business, but I don't know what it's like to have $100 million business, a $300 million business, or $1 billion business. So I want to learn from people that are really far ahead of me. You want to do the same thing. You want to think about what are the milestones that you want to reach and find advisors that have done what you aspire to do. It's the same thing when you're looking for an attorney, you're looking for an accountant. You don't want somebody who's never worked with a company like yours. You don't want a bookkeeper who works out of her basement for, really, really, really small businesses to give you advice on how to set up an international firm, because she doesn't know how. They're not going to know how. You need to find people that have done the things that you aspire to do, so they're not learning on the job. That's a really important distinction. Don't pay somebody to learn on the job with you. Pay somebody who knows how to get the job done. The next thing you don't want to do is someone who's an armchair quarterback. They always got the idea on what you should have, could have done, but they're the person who's never in the game. They're always on the sidelines. They're always talking about what should be done. I know somebody in my family who's like this. They read all the books and they talk all the talk, but they can't get off the couch. They can't actually take their words. They can't walk their talk. You don't need an armchair quarterback who's got all the right answers, all the right, clever alliterations, and can cite 1 million books, but they've never actually made a dime doing it. So don't let armchair quarterbacks run your business either. They have no place on your advisory board because they have not proven that they can do what they say. You want to talk to people that can show you what they say works. And then the last one, and sometimes these people end up as your advisors, because sometimes they're really good at what you do, but you got to recognize these people. And as soon as you recognize them, you got to get rid of them. And those are the dream stealers. Those are the negative Nellies. Those are the people that put you down. Those are the people that make you feel less than. I am in strategic coach, and one of the things that Dan Sullivan says is the number one job of every entrepreneur is to protect their self-confidence. And when you have coaches or advisors who are negative Nellies and they're dream stealers and they put you down and they say things to you that make you doubt yourself, get rid of them. You don't need those people in your life. You need advisors that A, uplift you, B, know what they're doing, C, have been there, done that, and D, are further along the path than you are when it comes to whatever topic they are advising you on. So I want you to go away and I want you to ask yourself, do you have the right advisors in place? And as we near the end of this year, you're probably thinking about next year. I want you to ask yourself, did your advisors help you get closer to your goal this year? Or are you still in the same place you were at the beginning of the year? Your advisor should help you make progress in your business, but you need to know what you want out of your business. And then you need to figure out who the best advisors are to help you get there. And this is what this season is all about. We're going to introduce you to some really great advisors and help you figure out exactly how to pick the perfect advisory board for your business. So thanks for listening. And if you re-listen to Masterful Marketing, the series with Alan Weiss, I hope you really enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a reboot, which gave me an opportunity to take a bit of a break this summer. And I'm super excited to get back into the show. Shameless plug, if you have not joined Thought Readers yet, thoughtreaders.com. I'm trying to build the biggest business book club in the world. It's really damn good and it's free to join. Go to thoughtreaders.com right now and you can learn from reading books with me and a community of like-minded people. All right, let's get this season started. Thanks for being here.